Good morning, MegaPodlings. I am very weary about the concept of yet another alternate timeline in the Halloween franchise, but here we are. Let's check out Halloween 2018. So I saw Halloween, and you probably all saw Halloween too, because it made a killing over the weekend at the box office. I think everyone on the planet ran out to see that movie this weekend based on the amount of business it did. So, here's my thoughts. If you care about my thoughts, maybe you don't. But then, hey, why are you watching this video? That's on you. You clicked the play button, not me. So, I didn't really like it. I just didn't think it was that good. It's not awful. It's not... I think on Facebook, I told someone it was garbage. That was too far. It's not garbage. I don't think it's good, though. I think it's better. This is why I say it's not garbage. It's better than some of the Halloween movies we've had. It's certainly better than Rob Zombie's remake and the sequel. Well, to be fair, I didn't see the sequel to Rob Zombie's remake, but I've heard from people who did that it's even worse than the remake, and I hated the remake, so I wasn't about to subject myself to a sequel to the remake. So when I say it's better than Rob Zombie's 2, take that with a grain of salt, because I didn't see 50% of Rob Zombie's Halloween movies. But it's certainly better than Rob Zombie's first Halloween movie, which is the only one I saw. It's better than Halloween Resurrection. It's probably better than Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. So, there you go. But I guess that's my spoiler-free review, is that I don't like it. Can I go further before we get into spoilers? Let me think about it. Alright, let me say this. I really like the movie Halloween H2O. 20 years ago it came out. 1998. It was the first film to bring back Jamie Lee Curtis after, after that first night, which took place over the course of 2 movies, Halloween 1 and Halloween 2. So it was the first one after Halloween 2 where she had left. First one where she came back. And they made a big deal out of it. I love that movie. I think it is probably the best Halloween sequel they've ever made, with the exception of Halloween 3, which I actually like better than the original Halloween. But that's a completely different story, because Halloween 3 is very much its own thing. It's sort of a tangential thing that has nothing to do with the others. So, only looking at the main films in the series, H2O is my favorite. Sequel. I stress sequel because the original film by John Carpenter is a better film than H2O. So I kind of feel like this movie has emulated that movie in a lot of ways. There's a lot of plot points that are similar, and I think it's an inferior version of that movie. Both movies, and I'm trying to keep this spoiler free, tell the story of Laurie Strode still haunted by the events that happened, in H2O 20 years prior, and in this new film 40 years prior. Both films tell the story of her just totally haunted by those events. They've shaped the entire course of the rest of her life. The key difference is, in H2O, she changed her name, she ran away, she was hiding. In this one, she trained herself to be prepared if he came back again. So it's kind of the same story, but it just took 2 different ways of telling the story. I just thought H2O was more effective. I thought it worked better. I felt with this one like I was watching Rehash. And there's one thing in particular in the new movie that really bothered me. It was sort of like I already thought it was not great. And this thing was sort of that little straw that broke the camel's back, where it's like, well, I've already got issues. And now on top of the issues I already have, we got this, which is stupid. Why is that there? And no one's really talking about this. The thing that bothered me. I read reviews, I see people reacting online, people are praising the new movie, and nobody's saying, hey, what about blank? That's weird. Why did that happen? Just not seeing it. And I'm like, to me, it sticks out like such a giant sore thumb that I'm like, how is nobody talking about this? So anyway, there we go. That's my non-spoiler review. I don't think Halloween 9, or I've been calling it Halloween 9, because it's just called Halloween. We've already got 2 movies that are just called Halloween. The original from 78 was just called Halloween, and Rob Zombie's first remake was just called Halloween. So this is the 3rd movie to be called just simply Halloween. And well, that gets confusing. So I've been calling it Halloween 9. And someone said to me, no, it's Halloween 11. What do you mean? And they went through counting all the sequels, and they said Rob Zombie's first movie was Halloween 9, and Rob Zombie's second movie was Halloween 10. And I said, no. You're counting wrong. Rob Zombie's movie was not Halloween 9, because it wasn't a sequel to John Carpenter's Halloween. It was the first film in its own separate tangential franchise. In fact, the sequel to Rob Zombie's film did have a number in the title, and it wasn't Halloween 10, it was Halloween 2, because it was part 2 to Rob Zombie's Halloween 1, which was not a remake, which was not a sequel, but a remake. So I'm like, no, this new film is actually a sequel to John Carpenter's original, which Zombie's film wasn't. And it's the 8th sequel to John Carpenter's original. And fans always call H2O Halloween 7. And fans always call Resurrection Halloween 8. And this is the first sequel to John Carpenter's film since Resurrection. That makes this Halloween 9. You can't call the zombie films 9 and 10. That's just ridiculous. Now, if we really want to get technical here, it should be called Halloween 2, because it's the second film chronologically, because it rewrites the events of the other sequels. But we're not going to do that, because then we get into the same problem we already have, being that there's already 2 movies called Halloween 2. You see, this is the situation we find ourselves in, and this is why these alternate timelines and ignoring the events of previous sequels is just stupid. I'm not a fan of that concept to begin with. Which is funny, because I'm telling you how much I love Halloween H2O, which was the first film in the franchise to do that very thing and abandon the chronology of the previous films. So, I guess I'm a hypocrite. But the thing is, I didn't really like that H2O did that either. I thought H2O worked in spite of doing that, not because of doing that. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? Oh, one more thing. I have gone on record as saying, either on this channel or in Cinema Sickness's live stream, I said it somewhere, I don't remember where I said it. I said since this film is setting up a new alternate timeline, I wanted to see Doc Brown show up with the chalkboard and explain the different timelines. Kind of got it. I kind of got it. There is a great Back to the Future 2 Easter egg in the new Halloween movie. I'm not going to say what it is. You got to see it for yourself. But they definitely reference Back to the Future 2 in the movie, which was a nice little nod to the fact that they created yet another tangential timeline. I thought that was kind of clever, so I'll give them credit for that. All right, now here come the spoilers. my spoilers for Halloween 9. I'm going to tell you the one thing that really bugged me above everything else in this movie, but it's a spoiler, so if you have not seen the movie, stop the video now, because it's coming in 3, 2, 1. There's a doctor character who Laurie Strode calls the new Loomis. I don't remember the character's name, forgive me there. But he's definitely modeled on Dr. Loomis. And he kills a cop in the movie. He kills a cop, then he puts on the Michael Myers mask. I'm whispering because there's someone walking towards me, and I don't know if he saw the movie. I don't want to spoil it for him if he didn't. So I'm trying to be considerate to others, you know. And that bugged me. It came out of nowhere. It came out totally out of left field. It's like, what is this? What is this? And then you think, okay, well, they're going somewhere with this. I can't wait to see where they're going with it. And then they don't go anywhere with it. The plot point just stops there. In fact, the doctor, shortly after, gets killed. So they don't go anywhere with this plot point. Now, I thought that was a plot point you could have built a whole movie around. Okay, the doctor now went crazy. The doctor's now a killer. I mean, that could be your next movie, quite frankly. I mean, we've all seen that. The killer dies and someone else picks up the mantle. Like, I mean, the Scream movies did that. There's a different person wearing the mask in every Scream. And the one thing these movies have always tried to push is that Michael Myers is human. Unlike Jason, who's just an undead killing machine. Supposedly, Michael Myers is just a man. Except for in Halloween 6 when we start getting into weird druid rituals and all that stuff. But, you know, he's supposed to be just a guy. So, and at this point, because it's 40 years later, he's also an old guy. So maybe it makes sense to do the passing of the torch and have someone new become the killer. Maybe that gives you your sequel. So I'm thinking, they're going somewhere with this. Then they go nowhere with it. And I'm like, well, that just sticks out like a sore thumb. It is bizarre. It is weird. Why is it there? It's out of place. And we got a movie that I already wasn't crazy about. And then we throw this weird plot point in there that goes nowhere. And that just kind of, for me, was the final straw. It's the thing I keep going back to when people ask me, what didn't you like about the movie? I keep going back to this scene because it just struck me as so out of place. So there you go. What did you think of the new Halloween? Comment down below. Actually, it looks like I'm pointing that way. I was trying to point down below. Tell me what you thought. Did you like it? Yeah, so certainly not my favorite. I would say my favorite is Halloween 3. That's my favorite out of all of them. I've said it before, it's the most Halloween-y. The holiday of Halloween is more central to the plot in that film than any of the Michael Myers films. It's the most seasonal Halloween movie. I always tell people, if you only have time to watch one Halloween movie in the Halloween season, watch Halloween 3, then watch Trick or Treat. But anyway, Halloween 3 is my favorite. The original John Carpenter Halloween is my second favorite. H2O, I think, is the best sequel to the Carpenter film. And then Halloween 2. The others, I could take them or leave them. 4 and 5 are fun. So, what do you think? What's your favorites? Which timeline do you prefer? The timeline that follows Laurie's daughter Jamie? The timeline that ignores that and starts H2O and Resurrection? Or this brand new timeline? Or do you like the zombie movies? Let me know. Keep wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas with the plastic feet. Keep wearing those pajamas. Tell everyone you meet. Keep wearing those pajamas with the back door flap. Keep wearing those pajamas. Don't open it, it's a trap. Oh no, it's a trap. Some people call them PJs, some people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have a pajamas. But no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep wearing those pajamas. I know we're having fun. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now the song is done.